Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for bearing with me because I know we're starting about 40 minutes later. That is 40 minutes later than usual. But I wanted to be able to pre-schedule the episode, even if it was only like 10 to 15 minutes ahead of time, and then I was having trouble with my live streaming, third party app. You don't need to hear about all the gory details, but we are here. We are live. It's Friday nights, and yeah, let me do my regular intro. We will be back in 20 seconds, and we will talk about this week's episode, or the topic of this week's episode, which is I want to start a book club. I want to start a witchy book club, and I want to do it with you guys because I want to read more books in 2025. So let's talk about it. Let's discuss what books you want to read, what topics you want to cover besides tarot. I mean, always tarot, right? But yeah, I will be right back. And hopefully we won't have an audio lag in that. I accidentally removed my camera from the stream instead of just hiding myself. So maybe we'll have a little bit of an audio sync issue, but whatever. It's fine. We're here. We're live. I will double check that. Actually, let me do that right now. Let me refresh my stuff, make sure that I am broadcasting to the Book of Face and the Tube of You before I do my regular introductions. Because, always good to do a tech check ahead of time. All right, so let me click on this. And hopefully that is also working. All right, looks good on the Tube of You. Double check in on the Book of Face. Looks okay over there too. I am going to probably put it full screen so I can just monitor things as well. Looks good over here too. All right, cool. We are good. Yes. Very good. Thank you for bearing with me on my tech checks. Welcome to another episode of Tarot by Hilary Live. I am your hostess with the mostest, Hilary of tarotbyhilary.com, professional tarot reader and EFT tapping practitioner, here to demystify the mystical and put you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. Now, on this episode of the live stream, I wanted to start a book club. Now, I did allude to it a little bit last week when we did the big fat year ahead reading for the year 2025, where I said after we did that, where we pulled 13 cards, for one card for each month of the year, and then a 13th card randomly or not so randomly combined with the general theme card of the year 2025, which is the Hermit card. We also pulled the Five of Cups, which is a very same body language as the Hermit. So I thought that was very interesting. So it was almost like a 2-card combination for our theme card of the year. But at the end of the episode, I mentioned I would be back again on Friday, and I did a little allusion to wanting to start a book club. So that is the topic for tonight's episode. I want to personally, one of my resolutions, even though I don't really make New Year's resolutions, more think about it, it's just like, who do I want to become? What do I want to pursue? That sort of thing, rather than making it resolutions that are just like very fixed, very inflexible, very like, I don't know. I think there can be a difference between setting resolutions and goal setting. And I think it doesn't have to be like so rigid to the point where it's just like, oh, well, I missed a day. Like yesterday, I didn't pull a card of the day. And it's like, instead of beating myself up over it, it's just like, okay, well, tomorrow's another day to try again. I actually did pull a card today. I just haven't posted it yet. But if I were to call it a New Year's resolution, I kind of want to read more books in 2025. And so I figured, I've tried to be a part of book clubs in the past, and it just feels very rigid. It feels like every time I show up, it's just like I'm caught with my pants down, like I haven't done my homework. And it's just like sometimes I just wanted to attend for the conversation, for the wine and cheese. So I did include that a little bit in the description tonight. So I want to read more books this year, and people are always asking me for suggestions on what to read to better their tarot knowledge, better their intuition, that sort of thing. So I'm always getting asked for book recommendations, either for pleasure or, for personal development. So I would like to start a casual book club. And no, I'm not going to kick you out or shame you for not participating and just coming for the virtual wine and cheese portion of the discussion, because I've definitely been in that position before, where I've been a part of book clubs and it just felt very, very rigid and very much like, oh, well, if you didn't read the book, like, then why are you here? And it's just like, well, because I kind of like hanging out with you guys, So, if you want to participate, you can totally participate. If you don't want to participate, you can totally skip these episodes and not participate, or, tune in if you want to. It's not going to be the type of book club where it's just like, oh, spoiler alert, whatever. Like, these are probably going to be nonfiction books about tarot or about witchcraft or about divination, such as Lenormand or Kipper or oracle cards. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. And I was thinking, like, should we start ambitious and try and do one book a month? And I kind of don't want to do that because, people read at different speeds. So, maybe one book every 2 months or one book every month and a half. So again, this is totally up to you guys. I wanted to start, like, I definitely have in mind the book that I wanted to start with because it's a book that I want to revisit. I've definitely read it before, but there's nothing wrong with rereading books, and it still counts as reading. So, and audiobooks still counts as reading books too. So, like, don't let anyone shame you about how you consume your content and your media. Okay. If it's an audiobook that you're listening to in the car or doing your dishes or cleaning your house, like, that is still reading. That is still participating. So anyway, let me get off my high horse. That is the topic for tonight's episode. I would love your feedback as well. And especially for the first episode of this, it's just like, let's talk selections. What would you like to read? Which book should we start with? Bring your suggestions and I will bring mine. That's not to say that we're going to make a decision by the end of this episode. We might not. So this is definitely a jumping off point for discussion. I might run a poll as well to see where we want to start. But definitely you can drop into the chat and start off that conversation. But as usual, we are going to start with the 3 pillars of the episodes. We're going to start with the Astro Biz Digest, the Astro Weather from Teresa Reed, aka the Tarot Lady. She is a wonderful tarot reader, but she is also an astrologer. Astrology in layman's terms, straight to your email inbox. So we're going to do a quick snippet from there. We're going to get into this discussion about book selections. We're going to break in the middle for the mid-episode reading, in which one lucky viewer will win a 3-card reading with me live on the broadcast. If we have the participation, if we don't, we'll move right on to the weekend forecast, which is where I pull a tarot card or an oracle card, so we can face the weekend prepared and not scared. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and give me a hell yeah in the chat and let me know. Otherwise, let's start with the AstroBiz Digest. So let me pull that up, give you the information. Okay. So here is the AstroBiz Digest. Again, $99 for a year-long subscription. It is astrology geared towards entrepreneurs and business owners, but I found it to be incredibly helpful in planning my personal life as well. Again, $99 for a subscription. And we give the briefest of overviews of the transits that are going on this week. And then we dive into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because I don't want to give away the farm. I want to give Teresa the credit. And if you like what you're hearing from this little broadcast, you can totally buy a subscription for yourself. Like, I have been a subscriber to the AstroBiz Digest since she came out with it. And I don't even know how many years it's been now. But, you know, I just renewed for another year as of last month. So I consider it very fundamental. Also, I use the AstroBiz Digest to plan my email readings. So if I'm doing an email reading for someone, I always say that it allow for 3 days turnaround time, because when you purchase an email reading with me, I want to look at the astrology to see when would be the best time to perform that reading for you astrologically. That way we're working with the energy and not against the energy. So anyway, so you have your information right there up on the screen to purchase a copy for yourself if you would like. thetarolady.com/AstroBiz Digest. All right, so let's get into what's going on this week. And I'm going to pull it up on my phone. And I really haven't been looking at the astrology this week. I'm not going to lie. I've just been so busy this week that I haven't even looked at it. But then again, I haven't really had any appointments this week, any tarot or tapping appointments this week. It's been a relatively light week. So I haven't really felt the need to do so. But it's always there. It's always in my pocket, you know. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So, oh boy. So I haven't even opened up the AstroBiz Digest this week because I've just been so busy with my retail job that I just haven't looked at it. But like, there's a lot tonight. So let's get into it. First of all, Mars is retrograde until February 23rd. That has been a transit that we've been dealing with since 2024. I mean, that sounds like such a long time ago, but remember, it was just last month. We're only 10 days into the new year. But Mars is retrograde until February 23rd. Avoid fights. Do not start lawsuits. Do not start a new business. Relaunch previous programs. Think before taking action. And choose business battles wisely. Now, this is from Teresa. I was talking to someone the other day about astrology for business. When I explained how it worked, she thought it sounded too complicated to be useful. Now, I'm an aside here. Teresa uncomplicates it. Like, subscribe to the AstroBiz Digest so she can uncomplicate it for you. Okay? Okay. While all this talk about aspects and transits may seem overwhelming, you don't have to follow everything to the letter. You can cherry pick the information that feels useful or focus on whatever suits your needs. For example, as I look at the upcoming week, the Mars in Cancer transit doesn't get me excited. I have a lot of work to do and I need motivation. However, Friday and Saturday, listen, because this is going to apply to you because we focus on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, okay? So Friday and Saturday are both favorable for Geminis and writing. I am working on my next book. This is from Teresa. I am working on my next book and aim to finish the second draft this weekend. Those will be the days I hit it hard because I know the stars are on my side. By the way, Teresa is a Gemini sun sign. Her sun is in Gemini. Now, my moon is in Gemini. So that might tell me something as well. Being favorable for Geminis, my moon placement is in Gemini. So anyway, so Teresa says, I have followed astrology for my business for many years. I always say it's my secret sauce for making all the right moves at the right time. P.S. or pst, I always check the stars before any business gets done. Knowing how to move with the energy is essential, especially in these uncertain times. Straight from her mouth. Okay. That's like almost the best advertisement for the AstroBiz Digest that you can possibly give. So, also I made myself a little cocktail, so I'm going to go ahead and, wet my whistle before I continue. I also do have water, of course. Made myself a dirty martini with ramp vodka and a little bit of extra dry vermouth, some olive juice, and 3 olives. So cheers, everybody. I don't know. Maybe the dirty martini is not dirty enough for me. I'm trying to be my own home bartender. Anyway. So anyhow, about this week, Mars retrogrades back into Cancer on the 6th. So we've had Mars be retrograde before, but now it's moving back through the sign of Cancer. This is a wet blanket energy. The fire is muted, making it hard to keep going. You may be tired or emotional situations could derail your progress. Protect your energy as much as possible with plenty of rest, good food, and emotional support. This transit can bring out vultures and energy vampires. Firm boundaries will be necessary. I've been definitely feeling that. Well, when she says the fire is muted, that makes sense considering Mars is naturally, I think its native placement or its happiest in Aries. And my Mars is in Aries. So like fire, fire, fire. So I definitely feel that like wet blanket. So, and the sucking of the energy, the energetic vampires. Firm boundaries will be necessary. Thankfully, Mercury will be in Capricorn on the 8th, a transit known for practical, grounded thinking. This will help you stay on your grind, even when your feelings try to get in the way. Use this transit for negotiations, planning, serious meetings, and networking. It's here until the 27th. Also, cheers. Thank you, Stephanie. Glad to see that you are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, let's keep going. So now let's get into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The Gemini moon. So Gemini moon, remember what I was just saying, that my moon is in Gemini. So like, I'm happy as a clam right now. The Gemini moon keeps words and thoughts flowing all day. Send newsletters, clean out the inbox, and jot down all of your business ideas, brilliant ideas. If you have writing tasks, this day will help you sail through those like a speedboat on a smooth lake. Avoid meetings and PR when the moon squares Venus at 9:18 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I slept in, so didn't have to worry about that. This aspect creates problems with words and puts the public in a salty mood for 2 hours. Best to zip your lip and keep on cleaning out the inbox instead. The Moon-Jupiter conjunction at 5:01 p.m. is terrific for travel, publishing, and pitching the media. It's also decent for social media marketing purposes. At 10:15 p.m., we're not there yet, folks, because we are at 7:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So at 10:15 p.m., the moon squares Saturn, cloaking the evening with a sourpuss attitude. I will definitely be done with live streaming by then, for sure. The public is not in the mood to buy, and you may not be in the mood to work. So today, Friday, January 10th, is a power day for Gemini and a weekday for Sagittarius. All right. Are we ready for Saturday and Sunday? I'm going to cheers again because, I was talking with Mr. Tarot by Hilary about my ratios on this. I mean, it looks pretty good, but it's definitely not as cloudy because I wanted to be able to taste the ramp in the ramp vodka. So I don't know. For a second there, on first sip, I thought I put in too much vermouth, but it's not too bad. I think I did 2 ounces of ramp vodka, 1.5 ounces of extra dry vermouth, and a splash of the olive juice, and then shook it up using my Boston shaker, strained it out, shook it up with ice, strained it out, and added in 3 olives. So, and no, that's not a recipe that I ever looked up. It's just something that I came to with experimentation. I don't know what's growing on me. Maybe it's just because I put a ass load of vodka. Anyway, this is a vibe. My makeup is fully done. My hoopies. It's a vibe. All right, so Saturday and Sunday. Saturday is clear all day, right? Network, travel, talk it out. It's all good. At 7:03 p.m., the moon squares Neptune and stations Void, which casts a foggy vibe into the evening. Okay, this is good to know. Things settle down when the moon prances into home base Cancer at 11:24 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope to be home and in bed by that time. This luncheon. I think that's a typo. Yes. Ramp as an onion. Yes, ramp as an onion. So I got this. It's from Cooper's Daughter, which is a distillery that we discovered at a farmer's market. And I feel like I won the jackpot because I was cleaning some of our kitchen, and for some reason there was a box on the top of our refrigerator, and I was just like, honey, bring that box down. I want to go through it. And it turned out we had an extra bottle of the ramp vodka that we had gotten prior to our move. And it's been a while, but also it's alcohol. It's not going to go bad. So I feel like I won the jackpot. I was just like, yes, I don't have to go out and buy more supplies or wait for the farmer's market or, have to find it specially. Oh, it's here. I had it. I didn't even know I had it. It's like the best little gift that keeps on giving, we're trying to clean and to nest a little bit more and make things a little bit more homey. And ramp as in onion. Cooper's Daughter, ramp vodka. Where was I? Sponsor me. So they have some really good stuff. So luncheon, typo. So this transit at 11:24 p.m. When the moon prances into their home base of Cancer, is best for client care, self-care, and cleaning the home office. See, but that can wait until Sunday. So Sunday morning finds the moon in opposition to Mercury at 9:53 a.m. This starts the day off on a cranky mood. The public is sulky. No one wants to buy. and the news cycle is filled with emotionally triggering stories. Great. Okay. This eases up in 2 hours, and the rest of the day is pleasant for business. Mars trines Neptune at 4:16 p.m., stimulates the imagination for 3 days. So we can take advantage of that from Sunday to Wednesday, I guess. Tap in, and your ideas could be on overdrive. It's also an excellent transit for research, secret meetings, and performing arts. A Moon-Venus trine at 4:56 p.m. is swell for social activities at your home or client care. A sweet end to a busy week. Saturday is a power day for Gemini and a weekday for Sagittarius, just like Friday. And Sunday is a power day for Cancer and a weekday for Capricorn. So kind of a mixed bag for me. My moon, again, is in Gemini. My sun sign is Aries. My ascendant or rising sign is Capricorn. So it might be a challenging Sunday for me with a rising sign of Capricorn, since it's a weekday for Capricorn. So, all right. So at this time, I'm going to open up the floor to people. If you happen to have a Monday that was really weird, or Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, there's just like, I don't know what was going on with that day, but I kind of want to know if there's an astrological reason why. Let me know in the chat, and I will check the Astro Biz Digest for you. Otherwise, we're going to move on to book recommendations, book suggestions. What book are we going to start with for this book club? And I'm going to drink more of this while it's nice and cold, taking advantage of the shaking of the ice. And I did not put that to video, by the way. So you don't want to see me using a Boston shaker, because one, I have to do it two-handed because, again, very small hands. And trying to open it, I mean, maybe I should use a more traditional shaker that like twists open, but one of these days I will get the hang of like tapping it open with my with the heel of my hand and actually being able to pop out the top after I shake. But it was a struggle tonight. I don't know. This is growing on me. I'm liking it. I might have to make myself another one, but not now. After the broadcast. All right. I'm going to look through, because I literally had not even opened the Astro Biz Digest this week. I was just so busy with my retail job that I just didn't look, which is unusual. It's unusual for me to not look at it. I usually look at it on Mondays, to just kind of plan the rest of my week, see what's going on, see what I need to look out for, what to anticipate, that sort of thing. So yeah, so Tuesday was kind of difficult for me, I will say, but it was a power day for my sign, because it was the moon was in Aries. So, but the energy could be erratic, so it might be wise to work in spurts if you want to avoid burnout. That explains everything then. I was just like, how is this a power day for my sign and I feel exhausted? And that would be the reason why. Okay. By the way, there's also a Venus retrograde coming up, guys. That will be, I think, starting, I can't remember the exact dates, but I think it's starting in March and ending the first week in April. And I'm just like, oh no. Because Venus retrograde, I've talked about this before, I know. When Mr. Tarot by Hilary and I were getting married, we were told by our officiants, so just to let you know, you're going to be getting married. The date that you picked, you're going to be in a Venus retrograde. And I just want you to know that. But if you choose to get married on another date, I won't be able to be your officiant. So it's just like I'm giving you the options. It's just either, get married during a Venus retrograde or like have to pick a different date, but I won't be able to be your officiant. And I'm just like, no, we want you as our officiant. So, so with that warning, we got married during a Venus retrograde, and I was told, and it has proven to be true, that the things that we were fighting about when we got married, every Venus retrograde, that's the things that we were fighting about. So keep this in mind. if you are to get into a relationship or get engaged or get married during a Venus retrograde, like plan for fighting about the exact things that you were fighting about at that time. At least like this is part of the reason why I do the AstroBiz Digest every week is, knowing ahead of time, like it really does help. Or it's just like, oh, okay, we're going to be fighting about this. Just let's be prepared and just take this fight with a grain of salt. Cause it's just like, this is the astrology. And, it's the same thing as Mercury retrograde. It's going to happen 3 to 4 times a year for 3 to 4 weeks of the retrograde period. So it's just like you can't get around it. You just have to plan for it. So yes, exactly. Well, it can't be too bad all these years later. It's not. And each year it gets like progressively better, not worse, because we know to plan for it now. So I have to, this is like my reminder to once I'm done with the broadcast, I'll go into the room and be like, hey, by the way, Venus retrograde is coming up, and he's going to know exactly what I'm talking about. So, yeah. All right. So, I looked at the astrology for Tuesday because I needed to know why the heck I was so drained. But now I know. Now I know. Just because it's a power day for your sign or your rising sign or your sun sign or, your, what are the big 3? Rising, sun, moon. Just because it's a power day does not exempt you from those energies. Like you might feel like you're raring and ready to go, but also you might overdo it. And you might burn out a little bit because you're just like, oh, okay, the energy is great for this. Let's go. And it's just like, why do I feel exhausted? It's just like, well, maybe it came on a little too strong. Quite possible. All right. So let's talk about books. I have my thought, my suggestion for the first book that we should start with. But I kind of don't want to lead the witness, so to speak. I did mention it last week. So if you're a regular viewer, you might know what I'm going to say. But I want to get feedback from you all first before we go ahead and announce it. And again, I am fine with not making the decision tonight. I'm fine with doing a little bit of a survey or a poll in the next week to then finalize what our book selection for the first book of the book club is going to be. And I will then take that book selection and parse it out into manageable chapter units. And then we can revisit it about a month and a half from now. And it's going to really depend. I want us to have a flexibility about it and not be so stringent, because I will say that in my last job, and I can still do this, by the way, if you're looking at me, you're just like, oh, I want you to edit my book, or I want you to edit my tarot deck or write or do those kind of things. I am still very capable of doing that. I am a trained copy editor. I did that for a number of years for an educational publishing company full time. But I will say that part of that job led me to burning out on reading for pleasure. And it was something that I really felt the keen loss of. And it's something that I've been trying to get back to, where it's just like, oh, like when I was a child, I would just, my nose would always be in a book. That's where you would find me. It was actually a source of friction between myself and my dad, because he would always like want me to be more social and participate in gatherings, and I would always just be like off in a corner with like reading a book. And so and my mom would be like, just leave her alone, like let's support the fact that she wants to read. So there's I want to get back to enjoying, loving to read, and reading books, and reading as many books as possible. I set my goals pretty high last year, and I tried to read 50 books. Didn't work. Like yes, 50. I think I only managed to read 10, maybe 11. So I have lowered my threshold for my reading goal, but I also want to be able to facilitate, if like you guys want to do this too. I would love to be able to read more books and actually like, provide some kind of discussion for it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be on this live stream either. It can take a form that maybe I haven't even considered yet. So love your thoughts. And Stephanie's onto this because you know, I know you mentioned this last week, so I'll just read this comment. I'm actually reading Psychic Tarot right now. That was going to be my pick, but would love more insights and reflections. Tarot Rituals is on the to be read shelf. Both Nancy Antonucci. Not really tarot related, but I recently finished It's Not Your Money, and it sure was life changing. Oh, I would love to know who's the author of that. Because I'm fine with reading fiction. I'm fine with reading nonfiction. Like I'm very interested in just like, I don't care what you read as long as you're reading. It's just like it's too much to just scroll through content, which I love to do. Like, don't get me wrong, I love to scroll through the gram of Insta and the talk of Tick. And sometimes I will look up and it's like hours later and I'm like, oh geez, like what did I just do with this time? It's very entertaining, but I don't necessarily think it's very fulfilling on a soul level. So it's just like I can watch puppies doing puppy stuff for hours. And by the way, puppy, I don't mean puppy as in like a dog that's less than a year old. No. All dogs are puppies to me. Every single one. I don't care if they're 15. I don't care if they're 1. They're puppies. But I do want to be able to like start to consume things in a more mindful way. So, Tosha Silver is the author of It's Not Your Money. Okay. I also got the Divine Abundance Oracle deck that pairs with it. Oh no, Stephanie. Oh, okay. Oh, ho, ho. And this is why we play the game. So now you're changing my mind, and I love it. Because I was really anticipating it's just like it's going to be Psychic Tarot and that's it. But I am fine with doing something a little bit different. And as long as I can get my hands on the things that you guys are suggesting, we can all read it together. And I'm very happy to like parse things out. So yeah, Stephanie's saying before, would love more insights and reflections. And we can totally do that. Like maybe we don't have to start with Psychic Tarot though, but it might be in there, maybe the second one, maybe the third one, because I love psychic tarot and I really do want to revisit it because there's so much. So I'm just going to hold it up. And I never noticed this, that I'm pretty sure this is the Three of Wands from the Mystic Dreamer is the cover of Psychic Tarot. I never realized that until we recorded the I think we haven't released yet the did we do the threes yet? We might have done the threes. We've recorded it, but we haven't released it on Card Slingers. Hold on, I have to look. Interior. Yep, cover art from the Mystic Dreamer Tarot by Heidi Darris. So, but I read Psychic Tarot back in 2011 when I attended SF Bats, and I hadn't heard of it, but I think it was released that year. Let me look. Yeah, 2011. And I saw this sketch that they put on, and I think I said this when I did the review of Psychic Tarot on my website. There was one specific thing that was said. It was just like a sketch of someone coming in to get a tarot reading for the first time. So I think it was like, I think it was Rhonda Lund and Dan Pelletier, and Nancy would come through and hold up almost like a cue card sign that was just like the inner monologue of the tarot reader. And one of the signs that she held up was the smell of moss. And I don't know why, just that moment, just sent chills right down my spine. And I was just like, oh my God, this woman gets it. She gets it. She knows what the hell she's talking about being a reader and getting these psychic hits when you're reading the cards. And I kind of found girled a little bit. And I ended up buying her book. I think it was at SF Bats. And for some reason, we ended up helping to pack up everything. And we were sitting, I think, in the Lassa's living room, and Nancy Antonucci was there. And I was just talking with her, and I'm just like that part of the sketch just moved me so much. And I made sure that I got your book. I'm going to read it. I'm going to devour it. And she was like, how do I know, she was asking me well, how do I know you? And I'm just like, oh, I'm Hilary Perry. And she was like, you're the tarot apprentice. And I'm just like, the fact that she knew me, I was just like, oh, this is wild. So that was my whole introduction to Psychic Tarot and Nancy Antonucci. Nooch, love her. And I started to kind of flip through Psychic Tarot again. Of course, I read it all the way through in 2011 when I first got it. But some of the little pull quotes, I'm just like, oh, I think that too, or I've had that moment too, or I've said that to a client before, in a general overview. It's just I'm not going to tell you anything that you don't already know on some level. And I did some bibliomancy the other day, and I turned to that almost exact quote, or in Nancy's words, her little spiel. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Crazy. So I was kind of drawn to doing that book, but now I'm starting to change my mind because of Stephanie. Thank you. Yeah, so before, from dogs, they're all puppies and all good boys and girls. Yes, absolutely. We were walking back from my car tonight, and I said to Mr. Tarot by Hilary, I'm just like, you know what I'm thinking of right now? I play this game all the time, and he's just like, some dog, a cat, ferrets, because I saw a ferret that I'm obsessed with now on the internet. Her name is Tuna, and she hides things in different hiding spots. And she has like 5 hiding spots, and they're all socks. She steals socks. I mean, like, that's very cute. So, but he's just kind of done with me. He's just like, you're thinking of some sort of cute animal. I know you are. I'm just like, and huskies, Frenchies, what? So, oh yes. Oh, I'll have to look up your review. Yep. So tarotbyhilary.com, search. I think I did 7 questions with her. So I think it's a part of the 7 question series that I was able to do. I could be wrong about that. So I've done 7 questions with Sasha Graham. I've done 7 questions with Teresa Reed. I think I did 7 questions with Nancy Antonucci. I could be wrong about that. I'll try and look it up for you and share the link. The other one that I really loved recently was your tarot toolbox that Jamie recommended on Card Slingers a bit ago. Yes. Yeah, I haven't read that one yet either. Oh, shoot. Your tarot toolbox or your tarot toolkit. Wait, no, there's a couple of them. So there's 2, but I know the one that you're talking about. So your tarot toolkit, simple activities for your daily practice by Ruli Story. There's also your tarot toolkit, a workbook for building clear, precise, and confident readings by Tom Benjamin as well. So Sophia, our friend Sophia Benevolent Corvus, really loves Tom Benjamin. Pretty sure it's Tom Benjamin, because he kind of like turns some of the more esoteric stuff and like turns it on its head and just like, yeah, I know we're not supposed to read it like this. Like I'm pretty sure he reads Lenormand with reversals, much like my friend, oh gosh, what is his name? Mike Hernandez. I remember that Mike Hernandez was just like, I know you're not supposed to read Lenormand with the reversals, but I read Lenormand with the reversals and it works. So it's just like, sometimes, we can't be too precious. Like, yes, sometimes, the rules are the rules, but it's just like, you learn the rules to break the rules sometimes in divination. And what works, like, use what works for you. So Tarot Toolbox, I got the gist. I knew what you were talking about. It's fine. Gosh, what was the other one? So Tom Benjamin, Ruli Story, Psychic Tarot. Oh, yes. I was going to look up the review that I did. Review. Psychic Tarot. Let's see if this comes up. Oh, that's interesting. So I put in the Google box, review Psychic Tarot by Hilary, and I got my testimonials page instead. That's kind of nice, actually. She has a real gift and intuition to match, reliable, and her prices are fair, 100% genuine, not some hokey psychic that's going to tell you when you're going to get married, honest and logical. Thanks, Google. Maybe that's the reason why I keep on getting a lot of people booking readings with me just from Google alone. So thanks, Google. Let's see. Orisha Tarot, Psychic Tarot. I am so certain that I did a review on that, though. Let me just click on my website and do a search from there. Oh. No, I don't think I did a review. I think I just mentioned it when I attended SF Bats. Oh, please. No, I did. Whew. For a second there, it was just like, All right. So I found it. Yep, I got it. Okay. I'm going to put that into the chat. All right. These olives are going to be absolutely like mired in vodka, and I'm fine with that. So you can click on that after we're done with the broadcast. So tarotbyhilary.com/7 questions Nancy Antonucci. So that is the interview that I did with her. Yeah, that's very sweet. It's also like I think I made this a little strong. That's also very possible. But I love that you're too prolific to fully remember everything that you've done. I'm trying. I am really trying. I'm also trying to be shorter and sweeter with these live streams. And I'm looking and I'm seeing that we're like 52 minutes in and we haven't even done the mid-episode reading, but that's totally okay because we're having fun. As long as we're having fun, that's the whole point, right? So a couple more suggestions or recommendations. I'm going to have to look into some of the suggestions from Stephanie because we might go with that first because, so we've got, Tarot Toolkit, right? We've got It's Not Your Money by Tosha Silver and the Divine Abundance Oracle deck that pairs with it. Like, I'm very intrigued by that. Like, I would love to be able to like read along with you guys, like not only to just facilitate the book club, but also like participate as well and read new books too. Like, I'm totally fine with reading books that I've read before, but like I want to be able to expand out a little bit. And I'm sorry, that looks very intriguing, the one that you mentioned, It's Not Your Money. So but a couple more suggestions of books that I have read that we might want to get into, or books that I'm like thinking about. So I love this one, Who Are You in the Tarot by Mary Kay Greer. This is a really good one. But again, it's not really a cover to cover thing. And so I was kind of thinking like maybe we should do nonfiction, but something that you can read from cover to cover. Like, I'm not going to do a book club. No offense to Benabel Wen. I love you, Benabel. Like, I think you're fantastic. But I'm not going to start our book club with holistic tarot because it's a brick. And people love holistic tarot, but also keep in mind, Benabel herself said, this is not my intention for you to read this cover to cover. This is a reference book in which you get what you need. Like, flip to the page that you need, flip to the section that you need. If you're doing the opening of the key and you want to learn opening of the key, flip to this chapter. If you want to learn this, flip to this chapter. So it's just like, it's very comforting to know that the author herself said, like, don't read this cover to cover. Like, so I'm not going into it thinking like, let's read these dense tomes. One, because that's not the intention of the author. And two, because I want to keep it fun, not necessarily light. We can go deep. Like, just because this is like relatively thin for a tarot book, like this is a little bit thicker. I want to be able to read something cover to cover and discuss, like be able to split it up in chapters, like read, for the first couple of weeks, read chapters 1 through 3. All right. For the next couple of weeks, read chapters 4 through 6, so that by the end of it, like you've parsed it out in such a way that you read the entire thing, and then we can do a discussion about it, which is, yes, a more standard book club thing. But also, I'm not going to punish you if you don't. not going to punish you for not participating. Like, this is just my idea. If you guys like the idea, please participate. If you don't like the idea and you're just like, oh, Hilary, just, I just want to drop in, learn something and drop out, like, that's fine too. However you choose to consume your books, same thing. However you choose to consume this live stream, come in, drop in, get your information, drop out, like, totally appreciate it. I'm happy that anyone watches me at all. So, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I'm like even more intrigued now. It's not your money is meant to be done over 8 weeks, just FYI. That kind of pairs. So maybe it would be like the first 2 months then. Okay. I'm going to have to look into this. Yeah. So, that's on my list too. I would assume that's Who Are You in the Tarot. Now I think it's called Archetypal Tarot, the 3rd edition. Or 78 Degrees of Wisdom. That's also an excellent choice as well. I do have that in my arsenal, and I'm fine to buy or get out from the library anything that I don't have too. Oh, Dina's here. Hello, Dina. Welcome. We're still going. Love your suggestions for a book club if you have them. And again, we don't have to do the final answer tonight, so. All right. I see that it's 8:08, and I probably need to eat something, even though I did have a nice big lunch today. Oh, you meant probably 78 degrees is probably too dense. I mean, it could be, or we could do selected chapters too. So one of the things that I was very concerned about when I was writing my own book, and by the way, guys, like, spoiler alert, we're not going to include my book in this. Like, that would be just too weird and too self-promotional. Like, ooh, no, like it just makes me feel squiggy. And I don't feel like my book is like one of those type of books where it's just like book club. It's just like more of a coffee table book that is actually functional. That is what was described to me as I was writing it and when I was contracted to write it. But those sort of books, like, it's like referential, like 78 Degrees, or Holistic Tarot, like, we can still do it, but we would just probably skip over the chapters that are all dedicated to like interpretations of the 78 cards of the tarot, because like, when I wanted to write, like when I was thinking about writing a book, like my intention was not to write my first book. The first book that I did write, my intention was to write a book that didn't include interpretations, because like, I don't want people to be so fixated on the meanings that I wrote or the interpretations that I wrote in that particular moment of writing it, that they discounted their own intuition, because like, I feel like that's a very common part of the process when you're learning to read tarot. When your intuition starts to speak and you start to get interpretations that are outside of your reference materials, like the companion book, like the little white book, like my book, like, it's just like, that's meant to be like, that is your intuition speaking to you. That's a very logical evolution in your tarot journey. And I just didn't want to write a book that included those interpretations, because I didn't want anyone to be made to feel wrong for interpreting something different in the High Priestess, the Hierophant, the Devil, the Three of Swords, than I did in a book. So I just didn't want to do it at all. And it's just like, oh, well, you can't say, oh, well, Hilary wrote this, so clearly I'm wrong, because like, Hilary didn't write it because she didn't include interpretations or keywords in her book. So like, therefore, I can just make it mean what I think it is based on me working with the cards over a period of time. Now, that's not what happened, and I ended up being contracted to write my first book, How to Read Tarot. And I think a lot of publishers always want to include that so that people have a um, not something to cling to, but something to bolster them, to give them a foundation. So instead of it being a hindrance, it's just like, no, this is a support tool for you. If you're at a loss for what the Three of Wands means, or the Seven of Swords, or anything else, like, here you go. Here is the form fed, or here's this what one reader says about this card. Now use this as a jumping off point. So we can certainly choose books that have those elements to it, but we can skip those chapters because they're more referential than anything else. Just a thought, just room to discuss, room to play. All right, do we want to do the mid-episode reading? Do we think it's necessary? We can do it. You can't do it. Whatever. I'm here at your leisure. So, but I grabbed a couple of books just to, have it as a jumping off point. So, Psychic Tarot's here. Who Are You in the Tarot is also an option. Some of the suggestions that Stephanie made as well. This one is not a tarot book, but it's nice and thin. I'm not picking it just because it's thin. I'm picking it because it's more, I guess, digestible, even though, like, for the thinness of this book, it's pretty dense, if you know what I mean. But this is more about energy essentials and magic and visualization rather than anything tarot related. But, I figured I would put it into the mix because I really do like this book. And I feel like visualization or learning how to visualize really helps with your intuition. It's very generous of you, Stephanie. I'm good if anybody else wants it. Anybody else? Bueller. See, that sounds interesting too. I do love it. So even if any of these books are not the first selection of the book club or not a selection at all over the next year, at the very least, you know what they are. You know the titles. So if you want to do your own exploration of them, even if they're not a selection, there you go. So Unspell book by Maya Ohm. A lot of these are published by Llewellyn. So this one, like, 2 out of the 3. Psychic Tarot was published by Llewellyn. Unspell book was also published by Llewellyn, and Who Are You in the Tarot was published by Weiser. So, all right, I am going to, I guess, forego the mid-episode reading because it doesn't seem like we have any real takers here, unless Dina, do you need the mid-episode reading? Do you need a reading right now? Bueller. We'll move right into the weekend forecast, which is beneficial for everybody. I will ask, which deck do you want to be read from? Because I've decided we're doing hodgepodge this month. I haven't even sent out the newsletter. I know it's the 10th of the month. I just never sent it out. So I do have the Reflective Tarot here. I have the Super Attractor deck, which is an affirmation deck. Dina says no, thank you. Okay, so we'll move into the weekend forecast, if I can find the crawler. And also a reminder that we do this every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking about different metaphysical subjects, divination topics, readings, magic, shit, whatever tickles my fancy. All right. So please subscribe, click the bell to be notified of new episodes or new lives or new uploads. Let me pull that up. Very nice. Okay. And of course, if you would like a personalized reading or a tapping session, you can find me at tarotbyhilary.com. That is Hilary with one L, except no substitutes. We've had some weird copycats and scammers again. And thank you, by the way, to everyone that has let me know about that. I really, really appreciate it. So every time I get one of those, I'm just like changing up the photos, reminding people. It's just like, no, if you're getting a DM from me saying like, Grand Rising, beloved, I felt called by your energy to give you a reading, but please pay me for this reading that I'm soliciting for you from me. Like, not me. Oh, how dare you, Stephanie, my heart. You've shot an arrow through it. I'm not subscribed to the newsletter. Well, I mean, don't feel too bad because I didn't send one out this month yet. So, but please subscribe to the newsletter. You're able to do so. I think there's a banner on the top of my website saying subscribe. You will also get a free ebook. I believe the free ebook is Tarot Beginners. It has a compilation of all of my best advice for if you're just starting out reading tarot, or if you're recommitting to a tarot practice after a lapse. So you get that free ebook once you become a subscriber, and I think you'll get an email that says to download it. If you don't, just message me and I'll send it to you. So, but yeah. I've been trying to do the newsletter more and more, and sometimes it's just like some months I'm like, I don't feel like it. I know it's a problem with consistency, and I'm working on it, but please subscribe so that I have a reason to write it. So, all right, let's get into the weekend forecast. And any suggestions which deck you want to be read from? We have, of course, we've got the ones by Gabby Bernstein, the Super Attractor Affirmation deck, the Spirit Junkie Affirmation deck. We also have the ones by Rebecca Campbell. That's in the other room, but I can grab them really quickly. Let's see, what else? We have I mentioned the Reflective Tarot, didn't I? So we have the Reflective Tarot. We have the Meraki Tarot. We have the Roast Iconic Oracle deck, which is mean. They're so sweet. They're really sweet, right? Really, really sweet, small, and they are mean. They're just mean. Like, what the hell? I didn't do anything to you. But you know, if you need to be roasted a la Nikki Glaser at the Golden Globes, like, totally, you can do that too. Why do you enjoy the tough love? Do you like it when the cards are mean to you? Like, because like if you do, then like you're my kind of people, because apparently I don't listen until I get yelled at. And I try and say that to my clients too. It's just like, listen, sometimes when the tarot yells at you, it's because it's been whispering for a really long time and you haven't been listening. So now it feels the need to shout at you. And I can understand that because that happens to me. So Stephanie's voting for the Roast Iconic. Dina, Roast Iconic. We've also got the Weiser Tarot, which is quite nice. We have the Radiant Rider-Waite Smith, which is my go-to workhorse deck. Let's see what else. We have the Pagan Otherworlds as well. We have the Enchanted Tarot. We have my OG original tarot deck that I learned on, which was a bitch and a half to learn on. Speaking of Benabel Wen, this was also her first tarot deck. I don't know how we both became professional readers, because these are sweet and tiny and they don't give you much, but Tarot Nova. Yikes. I love them though. I do love them, but look at the backs. Backs are just so pretty. I got suckered in by a nice back. Up to you guys. I'm going to take one last sip and then I'm going to pull the oracle. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to eat cheese. And probably make myself another cocktail. You know I said it before. I think the ratios were right on. All right. Ooh. I'm not really a sake person. I think I've just got to find the right sake. But Stephanie's drinking a lychee or lychee. I keep on mispronouncing things. Lychee or lychee. Which is it? By the way, new episode of Card Slingers came out today. It was about welcome to 2025, what all three of us individually are doing. And I mentioned probably one of the most shameful things is that I mispronounced faux pas for years as fox pox. So I shared that story on the podcast and that's just a sign. You know what? Saying that on this live stream when we're talking about book club and reading more books, like that's a sign of a reader. If you were a reader when you were younger and you learned words through reading and not necessarily through conversation or having to pronounce them, like you were going to mispronounce words. So sign of a reader, mispronounced faux pas pretty much my entire life. Thank you. Lychee. All right. And Stephanie already listened to the podcast, Card Slingers. Some of it was really, really unhinged because we recorded that. I can't remember which week we recorded that, but we were very, very punchy, as you can hear at the beginning of the episode. And I couldn't even remember some of the things I said. And there was no drinking involved either. It's just I just couldn't remember. And one of them was just like filling from an empty cup. I think we talked about filling. You can't fill from an empty cup. You've got to make sure you're recharging yourself and everything. It's just I'm dusty. And it's just all right, well, spit on me. It was unhinged. I'm just how are people still listening to us 6 years later? What is wrong? First of all, what is wrong with us? But what is wrong with you guys? Finding this amusing, but it's just but we love you guys. We can't believe we have fun. We have fun. Clearly we have fun doing the podcast because you guys can hear it. You would hear it if you didn't. If we hated each other, you would definitely hear it. But it's really true. If we did not like doing it, we wouldn't do it. And the minute one of us does not want to do it anymore, we're not going to do it anymore because we care. We all got matching tattoos before we even published our first episode. We recorded an episode, then we did the conference in St. Louis. In between that, we got matching tattoos. The day I think we flew in, or the day that I flew in, we got matching tattoos. Did we go out for Ethiopia? We went out for Ethiopian food either before or after the tattoos. I can't remember. There was drinking involved. And then we hosted a conference, and then we went home to our respective homes, and then we launched the podcast. And somehow 6 years later, you guys are still listening to us. So it's nice. Yes. So Dina asked, do you like Lenormand? I have become obsessed. I do like Lenormand. I don't know if it likes me. And that's one of the books that I actually do want to revisit as well. Rana George's The Essential Lenormand. So the year that Lenormand became really popular was the same year that I taught one of the evening classes at Reader Studio. And so I was like very focused on that and like freaking out. And I actually, the Friday nights, I was supposed to be doing the celebrity, which is very weird, celebrity readings. And nobody had signed up yet for a reading with me. And that was the same night that Rana George was doing her evening class on the Friday night. I was doing my evening class on the Saturday night. So I was supposed to be doing readings on the Friday night. No one had signed up yet, but she was doing her class on Lenormand. And I was just like, is there a way that I can just block this out so that I can go to Rana's class on Lenormand? And they said, yeah, of course. So I ended up going to her class, and it was full to the brim. Like there were so many people that showed up for her class, and I felt really, really bad for the other teachers that were teaching on Friday night, because it was just like, it felt like everyone went to Rana's class. But it was at the time where Lenormand like really gained popularity. It was like the flavor du jour. But she knows her shit about Lenormand. Lenormand's very interesting. And also I have the same, probably not the same level for Kipper, but Kipper is also very interesting. But Kipper was developed specifically as an answer to Lenormand. And if you guys are interested in both Lenormand and Kipper, there are episodes. Of the live stream. Replays are available where you can go back and listen. And also, we did do an episode, I think, with Red Light Readings on Card Slingers about Lenormand. I think we called it the Dirty 36. So check that out, especially Dina. If you haven't listened to that episode yet, you probably have. But if you haven't, check that out. Or if you have already, but it's been a while, listen again. Because V knows her shit too. So like Rana George, Red Light Readings. I learned Lenormand through both Rana and the Sassy Sybil. Can't remember her actual name right now, but I learned it from the Sassy Sybil. And just know that like Lenormand, it's just like one card. It can tell you some stuff, but it's more to be read in a sentence. So you need 2 cards or 3 cards to be able to get a full answer to the question. And always go back to the question. The question. What was the question that you asked? Like tarot, sometimes you ask about love life and it's talking about your career, and that's just what tarot does. It's just like, no, you need to focus on this. Lenormand, like, what was the question? Go back to the question, look at the cards from the context of the question. That's what it's meant to be. So yes, I'm obsessed with Lenormand. I don't know if it's necessarily, the feeling's not necessarily mutual. Yeah. So Stephanie says, OMG, yes. Jamie was saying she'd spit in the Yep. Again, unhinged. I don't know why you guys listen to us, but I'm glad that you do. Erica Robinson's book is good too. Language of Lenormand. I will have to check that out. Yeah, exactly. I like it for the more day-to-day questions. I'm trying to get better. I use Rana's book like you recommended. Rana's book is fantastic. It is so good, especially the just the way that it's set up with the 36 cards, and how it's just like, okay, here's card number 1. Here's the context. If it's in like, here's the overview of the card. Here's the context if it's a place. Here's the context if it's an adjective. Here's the context if it's an adverb. Here's the context if it's a person. Then it's just like this, and this. So it's like giving you like the very full scope of like everything it could mean. And I have found Lenormand to be really, really good for finding misplaced items, finding lost items. Like I feel like my track record on finding lost items with Lenormand is like 95% like is really, really good now that I understand like the language of it. Like, and also I've consulted with other Lenormand readers like Donnelly de la Rose. Oh my God, Donnelly like makes Lenormand so understandable and so much more accessible. It's like much gentler, especially in her hands. But like I was missing something, and like I tried to lay out cards, and then I was just like, all right, someone help me because I'm not a Lenormand reader. Like I'm more tarot focused. Like I need to take off my tarot hat. I understand that, but like someone help me with context here. I pulled these cards and I'm looking for this. And she was just like, this is this. Try here, try here, try here, try here. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then so I was able to find something for my best friend. It took a while. She finally found it, and then like when she explained where it was that she found it, she was like, the cards were right. Like you were right. It's just like I just didn't know that you were right." And I'm like, "Yeah, that makes sense." I found paperwork from my mom. She called me a genius. I'm just like, okay, well, but it was cards. It wasn't me. She was like, no, you're a genius. And she was like, you got to interpret it. I'm just like, thank you, I think. And for some reason, like sometimes I misplace my pendulums. And I'm just like, is this the definition of craziness? Me having to locate one divination system with another divination system? But every time I've gone to like, it doesn't even take pulling the cards for the Lenormand. I look for my Lenormand deck and then I end up finding my pendulum before I even have to pull Lenormand. Like literally, here's the Lenormand, and then like my pendulum is not that far away from my Lenormand deck. And I'm just like, oh, okay, well, that solves that problem. Stephanie says, I took a Lenormand class by Erica through Tarot Readers Academy. Nice, nice. Tarot Tableau. Ooh, Tarot Tableau for lost items. Do tell me more. So we're going to go with the Roast Iconic because that was like, I think that was 20 minutes ago. Stephanie was just like, Roast Iconic. Let's do that one. Okay. But yes, very open to, by the way, another caveat for this, for the book club. We don't have to just do tarot books. Like I was saying with the Unspell book, like this is energy. This is energy essentials. We can also dive into different divination books too. If you guys want to learn more about Kipper, if you guys want to learn more about Lenormand, like we can totally do that. But also we might, like I was saying before about Benabelle's book, like we might skip over certain chapters that provide like interpretations, you know. It's just like, or it's just like, it's all this, like here's like the chunk of 1 through 36 for the Lenormand, you know. And it's just like, that's more of like a reference tool. But like, let's dive into the chapters that are more like providing context, right? I learned the Tarot Tableau from Maria Alves Hernando at Sybil's Tarot. So good. Ooh, okay. I'm intrigued. All right. Let's do the weekend forecast. So I think I have to pull the deep card, but I will shuffle and pull one more because the deep card, can't make this up, guys. The deep card is podcast. The deep card is podcast, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. Is the Roast Iconic advertising Card Slingers Coast to Coast? Is it? I think it might be. Check out the newest episode. Okay. All right. What do we most need to know for this weekend besides listening to the newest episode of Card Slingers Coast to Coast? It was funny, actually, you guys. So sometimes, you know, we record the episodes and then I like, you know, it's a little bit of like magic, like set it and forget it. So we recorded the episode and then sometimes I just don't remember what I say in the episodes. Stephanie's like, sponsor me, please. Yes, sponsor me. I want like Me Undies to sponsor us. Like we will do commercials for Me Undies. We will do commercials for I would do commercials for Liquid Death, sparkling water or mineral water, um, you know, but so sometimes, I'm listening to this episode that we recorded, and it's like, it's become this weird thing where it's just like my personality on the live stream and my personality on the podcast, it becomes like this separate entity. So like now when I watch myself, I can watch myself and be like, what is this person going to say? Or like, oh, who it like I have this kind of like separation, I guess. Where I can listen to the episode and be like, oh, that was pretty wise. And it's just like, that's you saying that, you moron, that was you, like, that's your voice. And it's just like, oh, okay. It's just like, that's your face. Like, I found it to be very useful, especially for tappings, because like sometimes I will record a tapping, but then I will tap along to the tapping that I've previously recorded, and it still works for me. So it's kind of nice. It's just like, oh, thank you, EFT practitioner Hilary, or tarot reader Hilary, or wise person on the mountain Hilary, not Hilary that's in this body Hilary. Does that make any sense at all to people? I don't know. Maybe actors have this, where it's just like they have the separation where it's like they have to go to their premiere and they have to watch themselves on screen, which is probably very, very weird. And then at least, I don't have to watch someone watching me watching myself, which feels a little bit meta and weird. But anyway, I was listening to our podcast today, and I had my headphones in and I'm cleaning. And we were just like, we see you cleaning, we see you doing the dishes, we see you cleaning your apartment. And I'm just like, and it was me saying this to myself, and I was literally cleaning, and I'm just like, because we have gotten that feedback before from people where it's just like, keep your episodes like tight to a half an hour, because like I listen to it while I do the dishes, or I listen to it when I'm cleaning my apartment, or I listen to it on my commute or whatever. So it's not necessarily that I'm psychic, but like in that moment when I was literally bent over and I was looking over, like I was like trying to clean out a box, and I said this in my ears, and it's just like, we see you, we see you through the microphones, we see that you're cleaning your apartment. And I'm like, what's happening? Oh, sorry. I'm always driving, LOL. So the road rage comment hit. I see, like I got you and I got me. So don't feel bad because I got myself. Anyway, podcast. All right, let's shuffle up. What else do we need to know this weekend? Fashion Witch. Okay, actually, I feel like this is very on point for me today, because I feel like I took like a half an hour to do my makeup today. Took a long time to do my makeup today, which you can't really tell, but like here, I'll zoom in a little bit here. So I did purple on the top, and I did like a little bit of green on the bottom. Oh, I wish I had my my little selfie lights to hand. I have it somewhere. Ah, I found it. Hold on. Let me see if it's even charged up. There we go. So, never mind my flyaway hairs here. Let's see, I did purple on the top, green on the bottom. Lots of highlighter, apparently. Didn't even notice that. Highlighter, blush, a little bit of a pinky lipstick there. So, Fashion Witch, not necessarily very far off. Aw, thank you, Dina. Thought you looked so pretty today. Thank you. I tried really hard this time around. So let's look at the companion book first for podcast, which was the deep card, besides, listening to Card Slingers, right? And then Fashion Witch. Super cute. A little bit kinder than I thought it was going to be, which I'm glad about. Yeah, Stephanie says, eyeliner is my weakness, but yours is on point. Listen, I will tell you a secret. Tape. Scotch tape. Not joking with you at all. This is something that I learned from a talk of ticker named Bryn. And she will take a bit of Scotch tape. She'll put it on her hands and allow it to soften a little bit so it's not as owie when you take it off. And you just, put it, you align it, here and here. And then you get messy with it because the Scotch tape is going to block you from, so it's creating that nice line there. Yeah. Well, I had the stamp. Scotch tape works better than the stamp. I had the stamp from Kasha Beauty, where it's got the stamp for the right and left, the little cat eye. I still mess it up too. I feel you. The Scotch tape works better. And then I found smaller, almost like paintbrushes, and I use a black eyeshadow, and I will fill it in, and then I'll use the liquid liner afterwards from House. So Lady Gaga's, her eyeliner is really, really good. So, but yeah, it takes time. It takes energy. Sometimes they are not sisters, they're cousins. Don't worry so much about it because most of the time people are not going to see you symmetrically right on. So, and just keep working on it because I learned how to do my makeup myself. So just take the time. Scotch tape though. Scotch tape. Okay. Now then, sponsor me, House Labs. Okay, so podcast is, I found Fashion Witch. Okay, so podcast is, do you love the sound of your own voice? No, I just talked about that a little bit. Do you believe the world needs to be informed of your nuanced opinion on everything? Could it be time you got your own show? The masses need your brand of authority right now. How will you wield your power with the microphone in front of you? Draw another card to see whether this direction will have a positive or negative impact on the world around you. Now that's weird because I did not know that was going to be the direction. So apparently our clarifier for this is Fashion Witch for the podcast card. So I think that's a good sign. I'm hoping anyway. You can dress the part, but if you claim to be a witch and your practice lacks morality, you, my darling, are not a witch, but just a muggle in chic disguise. Ooh, so there's the calling out. There's the calling out right there. Mm-hmm. So, do the podcast, right? Shout it out, have the microphone in front of you, but it's just but you better walk the walk as well as talk the talk. Okay. Message received. Dina says, interesting with moon in Gemini. Yeah, especially when my natal moon is in Gemini. Yeah. Oh, shit. That was the harsh part. Well, you asked for it, guys. So you did ask. Be careful what you ask for. You're probably going to get it. All right. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. So I'll keep everything in mind, all of your suggestions about books. And we'll probably make a decision by this time next week and I will announce it probably on the live stream. Look out for some polls in the next week. That way, bring some democracy into it. Bring some more opinions into this, so that we know what our first selection is going to be. Looking forward to it, because either way, it's going to be great, I feel, especially with these cards coming up, because, I think I do. I think I do walk the walk most of the time, as well as talking the talk. Thank you very much. Thank you to my natal moon in Gemini, most of the time anyway. So thank you all so much for watching. Again, if you would like to book a personalized reading with me, you can do so at tarotbyhilary.com. I am here for your tarot and your tapping needs. Remember that we do this every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will see you next week. Until then, I am Hilary, professional tarot reader and EFT tapping practitioner, here to demystify the mystical and put you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Remember to put your message out there according to the cards. Remember that you're walking the walk as well as talking the talk this weekend, and have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead of you until I see you again on Friday. Bye. Oh crap. Where's my end screen? Of course, I plan all of this out and I can't even find my darn end screen. Give me 1 second. There it is. I'm pretty sure it's this one. You're very welcome, everybody. Thank you. Good night. Good night to all of you too. Bye.